Other tools we offer are Autopilot, JSON to Excel, various validators to validate GST numbers, HSN, and other tools such as Offset Facility, where it helps you in optimizing your uh, resources and filing GSTR 3B. Let's look at some of our numbers. We have more than 30,000 users. Lakhs of reports have been downloaded through our servers, and millions of invoices are processed daily. There are more than 20 crore invoices in our database. Plus, we generate an e-invoice every 2 seconds. So load handling is not a problem for us. If you choose to go with GST Zen for your e-invoicing, it would be easy and fast. So let's look at some of the legal provisions for e-invoicing and see the timeline when it began. So e-invoice was initially introduced on 1st of October 2020, and it was started for turnover above 500 crore. For businesses whose turnover exceeded 500 crore were enabled for e-invoicing from 1st of October, and the cycle has continued. 100 crore went live on 1st Jan 21. Similarly, 50 crore went live on 1st April 21. Then again, in the next cycle, 20 crore went live on 1st of April 2022. After that, the last turnover for which it has gone live is 10 crore. For 5 crore, it is proposed to go online from 1st of August 2023. So the various notifications that have brought it into force, the first one would be your central tax notification 61/2020. The latest one being for 10 crore 17/2022. So here are some relevant notifications and rules. So it was brought into effect by notification number 68/2019. Rule 48 of CGST rule gives the manner in which you should issue an e-invoice. So Rule 48 sub-rule 4, it gives a form GST INV1. It states how the invoice, what content should be there in the invoice. Rule 48 sub-rule 5 gives the invoice, states that the invoice other than form GST INV1 would not be valid. And Rule 48 sub-rule 6 states that multiple copies are not required if it is an e-invoice. So before that, you would have been creating multiple copies, like one for supplier, one for buyer, and one for transporter. When you generate e-invoice, multiple copies are not required. Then CGST notification 69/2019 notifies the common portal. The common portal is einvoice1.gst.gov.in, where you will be registering yourself for e-invoicing. That is similar to your GST portal. So here you would be able to keep track of all the e-invoices you generate, see which you have generated in the past 3 days or the past month. What it will give you various MIS reports as well. So that portal is used for all the e-invoicing needs. CGST notification 60/2020 specifies the schema. So each e-invoice has to be registered with the portal in a specific format, which is called the schema, which all information needs to go to the e-invoice portal, and how it should go, in what format should it go, is specified by the schema.
Aarti?
Yes.
Your screen is still on about GST Zen. Is it fine?
Sorry, I have moved on. 1 second.
Okay.
Let me go back.
You can do a full screen.
Just a moment. There seems
Yes.
to be a technical issue. Okay. Okay, is it showing now?
Yes, can you go 1 or 2 slides back? You can start again.
Okay, yeah. So this is what
Thank
I was discussing, the timeline. So I'd already discussed the timeline. The first batch went live on 1st of October 2020. The last one to go live was 10 crores and above, which went live on 1st of October 2022. And the most recent one, that is 5 crores, is proposed to go online on from 1st August 2023. So these are the notifications that I was discussing. CGST notification 68 bar 2019. It brought into force. It implements e-invoicing. Okay. Rule 48 gives the invoice, the form, and which invoices would not be valid, and multiple copies of e-invoice not required. Then notification of common portal, that is the e-invoice portal. And the last one, 60 bar 2020, notifies the schema, that is the fields that should be present in the e-invoice, as well as the manner and the validations of, of the schema. So there are some one is from NIC, e-invoice 2, then you have Signet, Clear Tax, EY, and IRS. All of them are live. So instead of going to the government portal, you can also register with private players.
Bharti,
Yes.
your screen is not visible. Can you share again?
One moment. Not sure what the issue is here. Visible now?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, there you can register with the government portal or with the private players to generate your e-invoices. Now, what persons are exempted for e-invoicing? So you know for which people e-invoicing is applicable, what has been specified. So it has been specified that businesses with turnover, that is the PAN, with turnover above 5 crore in any of the previous financial years, are eligible for e-invoicing from 1st of August 2023. So if your turnover has exceeded 5 crores for the PAN from the date on which GST was applicable, you are eligible for e-invoicing. Even if you did not cross 5 crore in the previous financial year, but you crossed, let's say in 2021, you would still be eligible for e-invoicing and you would have to generate e-invoices. So these are the persons exempt from e-invoicing. That is your SEZ unit, a government department, a local authority, and persons covered under CGST Rule 54. That is your insurer or a banking company, financial institution, including NBFC, a transport agency, passenger transportation services, admission to exhibition of films in multiplex screens. This has been updated by notification 61 bar 2020 central tax notification. So any person beside these people, these institutions have to generate e-invoices whose turnover has exceeded 5 crore for the PAN. So which transactions are covered in e-invoicing rule? This is very important. Please pay attention. Okay, so there are certain types of transactions which are eligible for e-invoicing. For e-invoicing is not applicable for all transactions. It is applicable for your B2B, business to government, and exports. Only for these three type of transactions, e-invoicing is applicable, and in relation to these transactions, all the invoices, credit notes and debit notes, you have to generate e-invoice for all the invoices, credit note, debit notes for business to business, business to government, and export of goods and services. If you are issuing an invoice to business, if you are selling something to a business, that is, you're issuing a B2B invoice, you have to generate an e-invoice. Similarly, you have to generate the e-invoice for credit note and debit note for these particular invoices as well. So now e-invoicing is not applicable for bill of supply, delivery challan, and ISD invoice. That is in case of your exempt goods. So all taxable supplies, you have to generate e-invoice. All the exempt goods, you will not be generating e-invoices. Similarly, you will not be generating e-invoice when you are selling to a customer or a purchase from unregistered dealer, as well as import of goods and services. So in these cases, e-invoicing is not applicable. To reiterate, e-invoicing is only applicable when you sell to businesses, government, or in case of export of goods and services. It is applicable for invoices, credit notes, and debit notes only. Now moving on to registration. So how do you register? So if you want to test before going live, so you want to make yourself aware of the system, how it works, what kind of errors you might face, and how to resolve them. You can register yourself on Sandbox. So it's a trial portal that the government has given where you can test with your invoices. This information would not be reported to the e-invoice portal, and you would be able to test various scenarios. Then you can move live from 1st of August. So the government portal has enabled people whose turnover is above 5 crore to register on API Sandbox. So you can register yourself and try to generate e-invoices from there to test. These are some other tools that the government has provided. So you can check the list of people who are generating e-invoices by going to the first link here, that is e-invoice1 trial.nic.in. It will give you the list of people who are generating IRN, so you can check who is generating IRN. Then you can also check the status of enablement. If you're not sure you are enabled for e-invoicing, you can go to this site and check with your GST number. Similarly, you can get various tools to generate e-invoice using this website. The next one is the QR code to read the e-invoice. So, QR code app to read the e-invoice. Every e-invoice will have a QR code. By scanning that, you can check the authenticity of the e-invoice and its details. So that tool is also provided by the government. Similarly, you can verify the JSON of the e-invoice as well on this website. You would be able to check the validity of the e-invoice through this website. So how does e-invoice work? So this is in case of API, or if you are connected to the portal directly from your software or through a GSP. So you would be creating the JSON from your software. It would go to the e-invoice portal. There it would validate your details as well as check for duplication. Let's say for invoice number 1, you have already generated an e-invoice. It will not allow you to generate the e-invoice. After generation of e-invoice, what it does is it will send the same information to the GST portal. It will automatically come in your GSTR1, and if you are generating e-way bill together as well, it will go to the e-way bill portal as well. So once that is done, it will go to the GSTR 2A and 2B of the buyer. Okay. So once e-invoice is created here, it is sent to the seller, the response, that is your acknowledgement JSON as well as the QR code, which you can use to validate. It will auto-populate in GSTR1. It will also go to the e-Webel portal if you are generating e-Webel, and it will go to the buyer's GSTR2A and 2B directly when you generate. So all of this process is automated. Let's look at some of the terms and definitions. Now, what is IRN? So IRN is a unique number that is allocated to each invoice that is registered with the e-invoice portal. It is a combination of the taxpayer GST number, financial year, document type, and invoice number. So IRN is generated based on these four details. If you use these four details again in the same financial year, it will give you an error saying duplicate IRN. You would not be able to register the same invoice with us again with the portal in this in one financial year. So it is a 64-digit alphanumeric number that is unique, used to uniquely identify an invoice. It is only for computers, so there's no need for you to read it. It is just a combination of these four factors: the taxpayer GST number, financial year, document type, and document number. Now, what is invoice registration portal? It is authorized by the government, first run IRP by the NIC, that is National Informatics Center. Second IRP is proposed to be run by the government portal, but it has not come yet. Sorry, the second portal has also been introduced, and various private players have also now registered. It verifies and acknowledges e-invoices, replies within the blink of an eye. It will only retain your data for 24 hours, and beyond which you would not be able to download your data. Let's say you generate the e-invoice now, and later on you want to download the details of that e-invoice, you would not be able to download it. So this is how it works. So the data is sent by the taxpayer in the form of a JSON, e-invoice JSON, to the IRP. It will check for duplication and other validation with the e-invoice registry. Once it is validated, e-invoice is generated. It will send the digitally signed invoice with QR code back to the taxpayer. If e-Webel is also simultaneously generated, it will send it to the e-Webel portal as well, and it will auto-populate the same invoice in GST common portal, that is your GSTR1. This is what a response from IRP looks like. It will give you the acknowledgement date, that is the date on which you have generated the e-invoice, acknowledgement number, IRN, signed invoice, signed QR code, its status, whether it's active or cancelled, if you have generated e-Webel, the e-Webel details as well. This is what a PDF generated by the e-invoice portal looks like. It will say this is a digitally signed invoice. This is the QR code. These are the details of the invoice. This is the signed QR code. It contains high-level parameters of an invoice. By scanning this, it will not give you all the information, but the main information of the invoice. It is used to check the authenticity. So this is the information you'll get once you scan. It will give you the buyer GST number, document date, document number, document type, whether it's an invoice, debit note, credit note, IRN, how many line items does it contain, the main HSN code, seller GST number, and the total invoice value. So it will give you only the main details, not the total information. So how does integration work in GST Zen? My colleagues would be showing it later on in a demo. So we provide TDLs that can be installed with the software itself. So when it is installed there, so you will normally, how you generate the invoice in your ERP, you would be generating it. that will be converted. We are taking the case of Tally here. So we install a GST Zen TDL in Tally. So it will be sent to GST Zen when you create an invoice and push it. It will send to GST Zen. GST Zen will convert it into a JSON, send it to the e-invoice portal. From there, it will get the response and save it back to your ERP. Generation type. This is the new rule that had come, that you had to generate e-invoices within 7 days of invoice date. It is no longer applicable. The government has rolled it back. Now let's move on to some frequently asked questions. So at what time is the e-invoice required for a particular transaction? So some people, what they do is they generate the e-invoice at the end of the month. So this is not a correct practice. So if you are moving goods, you should generate the e-invoice before the movement of the goods itself, like you do for an e-way bill. You generate the e-way bill before you send the goods. So uh, for goods, the same condition is applicable for e-invoicing. So you have to generate the e-invoice first, then you generate the e-way bill on e-invoice, and then you commence the movement of goods. In case of invoice for across the counter sale before completing the sale, and invoice for services before issuing it to the customer. So now, how would e-way bill works? How will e-way bill work in along with e-invoice? The same rules are applicable for e-way bill after commencement of e-invoicing. So they are governed by Rule 138 of CGST rules. E-way bill can be generated simultaneously along with IRA, or it can be generated later as well. So let's say I have generated an invoice today, but I am sending the goods after 5 days. So I generate the e-invoice today, but I can generate the e-way bill before the movement of goods, that is 5 days later, based on the e-invoice. IRP supports e-way bills only for invoice. You can only generate e-way bill for an e-invoice. In case it is an invoice, it will not allow you to generate an e-way bill for credit note or debit note. If you need to cancel an e-invoice where you have generated the e-way bill as well, first you need to cancel the e-way bill, then you cancel the e-invoice. How do you print the e-invoice? You can print it, use the government PDF, or you can have your own PDF. You would need to integrate the QR code as well as IRN details to your invoice. The government does not give a specific format, but it tells you the details that are mandatory for an invoice. So all details should be there. There is no necessary specific format. So how do you send it to the e-invoice recipient? IRP will not send it to you. You have to email it yourself to the seller. So acknowledgement JSON along with PDF you should send so that they can verify and validate the e-invoice. What details of the e-invoice should you uh, save to your ERP? You should save the acknowledgement number, date, invoice and QR code digitally signed by the IRP. So, and what time should you register the e-invoice? It is recommended that you should generate the e-invoice within a week to be compliant with Section 31. Can the e-invoice be cancelled? Yes, it can be cancelled provided you cancel it within 24 hours. Can you modify an e-invoice? No. Once you generate an e-invoice, you cannot change any detail of it. Let's say you generated an e-invoice with amount 100, but later on you saw that it is a mistake, it should have been 1000. Now you would not be able to correct it. The only option with you would be to cancel it or raise a credit note. You can cancel that too only within 24 hours. After that, you would not be able to cancel. So what if you have generated an invoice by mistake and it is not cancelled within 24 hours? The other option is you can cancel it in your books of accounts and not report it in GST portal. It will get auto populated in your GSTR1, but you can remove it from there. Although it is not recommended, but you can do it in some rare cases where you do not have other options. E-invoice technical aspects. So here, this is how GST Zen works. As I had explained before, you can connect through APIs, or we can provide an add-on. It will collect the information, send it to the e-invoice portal, get the information back, and save it to the ERP. GST Zen also provides the facility of emailing the PDF to the customer. So once you generate the e-invoice, it will automatically be emailed to the customer, provided you give the email ID in the JSON or maintain it in GST Zen. So this is the e-invoice schema. It has various fields. Some are mandatory, some are optional. So let me show you which are mandatory. In this image, you can see the mandatory details. So the seller details, that would be your name, GST number, address, PIN code, state. And similarly, the buyer details are mandatory. So you have document details, which would include your document number, date, and other details. Similarly, line items like your HSN description, tax rate, quantity, taxable amount, all these fields are mandatory, as well as the totals. This image shows the optional details that you can provide. So in case of shipping and dispatch address, if they are different than your buyer seller address, you would be providing your shipping details as well as dispatch address. If you are exporting, you need to provide the export details as well. You can provide reference details such as PO number, PO date, or payment terms, that how much has to be credit days, or what amount has to be paid upfront, what has to be paid at what point of time. Those are all optional fields. Okay, so this shows the number of mandatory fields and optional fields. So under the mandatory section, you have you have 28 mandatory sections, and in that there are various fields. Within a mandatory section, you will also have mandatory fields and optional fields. Let's say you are talking about a buyer, so the legal name would be mandatory, even though providing the details of the buyer is a mandatory section. Providing the trade name of the buyer is not a mandatory field. Okay, so some sections are altogether mandatory, but not all the fields within the mandatory section are required. So we can skip through these. This is more detailed. Now going on to the options that GST Zen is providing. We provide Excel connector, direct database access, as well as click button solutions in IRP. So in Excel, you can use our standard format, or we can integrate your custom Excel to our software. Plus, we provide direct integration with the database. We provide GST Zen APIs for developers who want to integrate their software directly themselves. And we have ready-made solutions for Tally and SAP. Now my colleagues Utkarsh and Azhar will show you the demo of the software.
Thank you, Bharti. I'll share you the screen. Please let me know when you can see. Is my screen visible?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you can see, this is our landing page of GST Zen, and here is the dashboard which contains all the GST numbers that you would be adding. And so here you can see a brief overview of a lot of things like GSTR1, 3B, and there are some quick links also for viewing, creating the invoices and viewing the sales register. So first part that I would do is I would go to one of the GST number that I have included in the my dashboard, and I will show you how the Excel integration works. So I would click on this, and then I would get a new page which would direct me to one link which is showing e-invoicing. I would then click to e-invoicing. This is the page which contains all about Excel integration. So basically we offer in GST Zen two types of Excel integration. One is with where we have the standard format provided by the government, and there is another format where we can map your Excel and you can generate using your Excel through the GST Zen. For today's demo, I would use the standard Excel. I would show you how the standard Excel looks like. So this is how it looks like. So first it contains the about sheet where it has the invoice level details. It also has a column where it would show that it's a mandatory field or an optional field. It contains a supplier details, recipient details, ship to details, dispatch details, then line items, and similarly all kind of details which are necessary for the e-invoicing. Here is the column where you would add all your invoices in the sales invoices tab. And this is the master sheet, which would help you in various codes if you want, like the state codes, it would give you, depending on the state name. It would also have the UQC code and the UQC names, and also the transaction types and document type. Now let's see how it looks like. So let me go here, and this is how here you can download the Excel template, which I showed you just now. You would click it here, and then you can direct it to the page where you want to upload your Excel. And then within some time, it would take a little time. Then yeah, so what I wanted to show you that in this Excel, what I had uploaded, I had added one more invoice which was already generated, just to show you that if in case that you upload invoice by mistake which is already generated, GST Zen system will automatically detect it and will flag that it's not it's an error and this invoice should not be generated. Then you would go to the invoice tab and it would show all the invoices which needs to be generated. So you can see the PDF. So this is the PDF that you would see. Okay.
Yeah,
Then
Utkarsh, one moment.
yes.
Yeah. So if you can you go to Excel once?
Yeah. Is this sir? Or the invoice section you want?
You have uploaded anything here? No, nothing yet.
No, no, sir.
Okay.
That is a different Excel.
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay, so as you can see that PDF that you just saw, that it doesn't have the mandatory fields that Bharti mentioned in the demo, the QR code, the IRN details, and the acknowledgement number. So all these things are not present here. So I would just go and upload, click on this upload e-invoices button. Slowly you would see that this green color mark comes and it would show that all the invoices would slowly be converted into e-invoices. Let's go into this. Let's go into this particular Sorry, there was some technical glitch, I assume. I will share my screen again. So this is the invoice when we generate it, and it would contain all the essential details, which are the IRN, the acknowledgement number, the seller details, and all the details which we have passed in the Excel. And so this is how we generate the e-invoice. Now let's say how, if we want in the same invoice, if we want to generate the e-bill. So for that, we would just go here and we would just enter the basic details which are required for e-invoicing. Let me just get vehicle number. I will enter the transporter ID as well. Transporter name, let's say I add it. And I would choose the mode of transport as road, and I would hit this button, generate e-bill. Now, as you can see, the e-bill is generated. It is showing me the e-bill number, the date, and it's valid up to. Now, if I see this button, initially it was not available. Now, if I click it, I have the e-bill PDF as well. Whatever details I had uploaded, whatever details that I wanted to put, it's there. So this is the first method through which you can generate the e-invoices. Now I would go to the second method, that is the API. So I would just show you one of my collections. This is the e-invoice API. So it is essentially helpful for all those people who are looking at APIs and want to automate their e-invoicing procedure. So it basically contains what passed using Excel. You can pass the same using this JSON structure. Now let's say if I want to generate an invoice, I would just
Sorry to interrupt, Utkarsh,
yes,
but your voice is not very clear. It is echoing and we are not able to understand.
Okay, just a moment.
Yeah, can you please go to the last part of the invoice, generated invoice PDF you were showing?
Yeah, is my voice better now?
It is still echoing.
Okay.
It is better.
Okay. So as you see, saw in the last time, I just pressed this send button and I could see all the details here. The status is saying as one, the message says IRN generated. And this is the IRN what my colleague was talking about. So this is how you get it from the response. Now, this is the signed QR code, which is given by the NIC portal and the signed invoice. Now, what else extra you get from GST Zen? This is the invoice PDF URL. Whatever PDF that you were seeing from this click, you get that same option in the response as well. So let's say if you want to see that, you can just copy this link and then just open a new tab. Then say my.gstzen.in and just paste the response. So as you can see, you got the same invoice. So what in the ERP you have to do is basically prefix that my.gstzen.in and you can get the same invoice. Similarly, if you wanted to generate the e-bill, you could have generated and got the same URL in the response. So this is how it's essential and useful. So let's go at the third mode of integration for today's webinar. I would go to home. And let's say I come back again to the dashboard. And I would go from, actually we get an option here also to create an invoice. I would come to the billing software. So this is our third feature for GST Zen, where we help users to generate e-invoices through the billing software. So it's like basic form that you would enter the values to, and the e-invoices would be generated. Now let me fill some of the basic details which are required to generate e-invoice. So these are the recipient details, the product, let's say chairs, and let me make it 5,000, and quantity is fine. So this is how I'm entering a dummy data just to show you. Now I press the save invoice. When I go to review, it shows me that it's an invoice created in the GST Zen software, but it's still not an e-invoice. What I have to do to create an e-invoice? Just to click it to generate e-invoice. So as usual, what we saw through the Excel integration, we got the IRN, the acknowledgement date, the acknowledgement number, and also if you want to check, we can also see the PDF. So in all three steps, we can see that we can generate the e-invoices, and then it would help us ease our work. So now my colleague Azhar would show you a demo how it can be done through Tally also. GST Zen also has a Tally feature where it would help you to generate e-invoices through Tally. Azhar?
Yeah, hi. Hi. Just let me present my screen. So let me know when you can see the screen.
It's visible, Azhar.
Yeah, thank you. So today I'll be showing you how we can generate and cancel invoices and e-way from the Tally. So as Bharati said, there will be one plugin which we need to install in your Tally, that is TDL. So the moment when you install the TDL, you will be able to see the additional option in the gateway of Tally screen. 1 minute. So this is the additional option which you will get when you install the TDL GST Zen. So I'm just going into that module. So here you have to select B2B invoice if you are going to generate an invoice from the Tally. So in that we have 4 modules like invoice register, generated, pending, and cancel. So I'm just going into that invoice register module. So as you can see, this is nothing but a sales register. So whatever the sales vouchers which you have created from that accounting level, so those vouchers can be able to see from this module. So also it has some other indications. So where you can identify the status of that invoice. So the blue color indicates, which means for the vouchers e-invoice has been generated, and the black indicates for that voucher e-invoice is not yet been generated, which means the invoice is pending for the vouchers. And the one more thing, red color is that, which means it has some issue while uploading an invoice. So also we can able to track the issue, what is the issue which is causing while uploading. So like, let's say for error GST and this number is invalid. So this is why the reason that invoice is not uploaded. So you can rectify those details and you can upload it again. So it should work. So let me just show you, create one invoice from the Tally. So I have given the voucher number. Then I'm just
one step back.
Yeah.
So here there are companies where you have multiple locations to generate the e-invoice within the same Tally. If you have multiple GSTNs in the same Tally also, it would work. You just need to select from which place you are generating the e-invoice. You would locate that. Primary, currently I think he is in Karnataka, so he's selecting Karnataka. And that respective, Bangalore, the respective details will be automatically filled. And you, as usual, how you do a data entry, it is a regular sales invoice data entry that you do.
So I have selected the party here. Then you can choose the sales ledger. Right now I'm configuring item like I have mentioned the quantity. Also, here is an option where you can update the e-waybill number. So if you want to generate an e-waybill along with the invoice, you can update the e-waybill details here. I'm just clicking the S. You can come to the transporter details and just giving the vehicle number here.
So for generating e-waybill, only the vehicle number is mandatory.
Mandatory,
Instance
yeah.
and everything is automatically taken by the portal. GST then automatically computes that.
So now I have saved the invoice. Let me just go to that GST Zen module to be invoice register. So as you can see, this is what the invoice which I have created now.
Can
So
you enter it to 2nd October date? Or make it to it's easy. And for the first one, do you have the e-waybill requirement? Have you posted e-waybill for 1st October?
Yeah.
Okay. One with the e-waybill, and the e-waybill is not there, I don't think.
Here I have.
Can you remove the vehicle number?
Okay.
So which means you have one with the e-waybill, one without the e-waybill. So as Azhar said, the color black indicates
Yeah.
So the color black indicates that these are pending for generating e-waybill. Select the full period, 1st October to 31st October, so that there will be 3 invoices. Yeah, right now you can see 3 invoices, 82,609, 2 and 123,914. So these are pending for generating e-invoice. Whatever is just to summarize, the blue color indicates the e-invoice is done. Red one indicates the e-invoice is pending. Then you'll also see a green color where e-invoice and e-waybill is done. So to generate an e-invoice, it's pretty simple. You will have to just select the record. You can use control and just select those 3. On the right side, you can see a button called upload e-invoice. You just need to hit this button called upload e-invoice. Now on a click of a button, you can see automatically e-invoices and e-waybill will get generated. So from the data will go to the government portal and it will be updated and it will come back. So you can see the last one is with green color. I can just go up. Last one is with the green color indicates e-waybill is also complete.
Yeah.
The second 2 are with the blue color. It means it is only e-invoices done, not e-waybill. So let's look at one by one. Go to one entry, enter. So if you see this, firstly, you cannot generate because this has already been generated.
Yes, exactly.
This number got used and you cannot generate it again. So IRN has already been cancelled. When was this cancelled? This got cancelled in the acknowledgement number. In 1st June 2023, which is today's date, he has already generated and it got cancelled. So he was unable to use it.
Yeah.
And when you go to the next, the green color one, yeah, it says e-invoice is also generated and e-waybill is generated. Can you just give print invoice?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Zoom it. So if you zoom this, you can see on the top of it, e-invoice number is there and e-waybill number is there, which means e-invoice and e-waybill both got generated, which got generated on 1st June. And the e-invoice QR code is also available here. So when you take a mobile app, which is issued by NIC and scan this, you will automatically find an e-invoice available for this application, right? Come back. Back. Can you just go to that first one, 82,609? Yeah. Enter. So here we can see the IRN, everything is generated. When you go to the e-waybill details, e-waybill is not available. You don't find the IRN generated, status is generated. E-Webel status, it is NON, which means E-Webel is not generated. Just print this invoice. Zoom it. Yeah, you can clearly see E-invoice number is there, E-Webel number is not there. Now, when do we do E-invoice and we don't do E-Webel? Two reasons. One, E-Webel is not applicable. The value is less than 50,000, E-Webel is not applicable. Or the value is above 50,000, but right now the vehicle is not ready. You don't want to move the goods. You generated the invoice, you might want to move the goods maybe 5 days later, 10 days later. At that point, you will only update the details and only generate the E-Webel for it. So in this voucher, what I will do is I will enter the vehicle number and I will generate the E-Webel for it.
So as you can see, this was in a blue color. So I'm just gonna to generate that.
Now, instead of clicking on that upload invoice, which we did, we will just one step below, you can see generate EWB. So for generating E-Webel, you don't need to again go to the portal. You can automatically see that blue color turn into green, and can you just go and enter print? Zoom, it has already done. So we can also see the validity of the E-Webel. Escape. Go to the provide E-Webel details. So here you can also see this is valid up until, since it has been generated now, it is valid till 2nd June 2023, which is 23:59 tomorrow midnight. Let us do other one IGST billing also. Can you just create one interstate customer?
Sure, sure.
So do you have a customer you want to create? Do you?
Yeah, it is there, sir.
GST number is there for that?
Yeah, it is there.
So we are creating one Tamil Nadu. So in fact, an indication in Tally when the GST is auto calculated, it would indicate that you have done everything proper. So you only have to give the vehicle number now. And by the way, can you just change the voucher date to say 31st March 23?
Sure.
So reason why we are now changing the date and I'm showing you is currently the portal permits you to do, by mistake you forgot to do an E-Webel and you are doing it at a later point. For the earlier period, the portal will permit. So just select this and upload E-invoice. Now you can automatically see it will create E-invoice and also E-Webel. We have earlier seen the intrastate, which is CGST and SGST. This is the interstate, which is only the IGST. The only also thing you have to check is the GST number of the recipient should not be blocked. If the GST number of the recipient is blocked, the E-Webel will not be generated and the E-invoice will not be generated. This is the new condition that has been given. So can you just see why there is? No, it's okay. We can troubleshoot on the portal also.
Yeah.
Just try one thing. So we are logging into the portal, which sometime back Utkarsh has shown the demo. Now, though the entry was done in the Tally, you can see these entries, you will find it here. Can you just filter with the 1st October?
Yes.
Okay, by the way, just hold on.
Yeah.
Friends, you can see on the first one, that BISME traders, this is what has been created in the, just click on that. Yeah, so this is what which has been created in the tally data, and it has automatically come into the sales register of GST Zen. So even from here, you can just click here to generate e-invoice. The e-invoice can get generated. However, the respective fields information there. So here the information is there. You also have e-way bill, which is valid from 1st June today till 3rd June. You can see on the right side till 3rd June, which means system has automatically calculated basis the distance and it has generated. Now, since that the data has been done here, can you go back to tally?
Sure.
Just change the period. No, escape, just escape. Change the period, say October, alt up to October to March. Yeah. So you can see the last one is still showing as black, because from the tally perspective, I don't know that whether e-invoice happened or not. Now, can I, just what you do is select that and upload e-invoice. So what you are doing is you are trying to connect to that, to the government portal and generate the invoice. Enter it. Now, if you notice, this is not a new e-invoice number. Can you just go back to the portal? Yeah, just verifying IRN is challenge. Just copy the acknowledgement number. Very simple. Just copy the acknowledgement number, or you can remember it is 1123, ends with 573. Go back to the tally. You can see the acknowledgement number, the 1123 and ends with 657, which means the GST Zen is always interconnected. Now, what we have seen, the demo is tally. Some of you might have, in fact, in the chat, I had seen a question. Someone was asking about, what about POS? Imagine replace this tally as an application with the POS. So any application that you are using, all that you are doing is you are sending a request and the response is received. Sometimes there will be an internet failure. Sometimes there will be a downtime. So you will still do the invoices in the backend, where the invoice gets generated at the portal. It can also be updated back into your respective application at a different time intervals. Hope this answers your question whether the invoice works with the POS. It works, and it works in the same way. So from the tally user's perspective, you don't need to do anything. You just continue doing the data entry. Any given point of time, like if you have multiple 100 entries, you press Control and space bar, it will automatically select all the vouchers, and you just need to hit this button called upload invoice. That's all. If it is already there, it will fetch the information. If it is not there, it will generate a new invoices. And by the way, this is in Tally ERP 9, Tally Prime. Yes, Tally Prime also possible. In fact, Tally itself gives a option for generating invoice in Tally Prime. But the add-on advantage of GST Zen is you will find this in this with color combination, so that this green, blue, everything will indicate, okay, invoice is completed, invoice and e-way bill is completed, or the voucher has any error, something needs to be fixed, or it is an indication about the status, and easily you can attend to those information quickly. Is there anything else?
I just want to show you how we can cancel the invoices from the tally.
That's very important.
So for that, you can go to the generated module. I'm just selecting from October 22. So these are all the generated invoices. If you feel that if you want to cancel any invoice, you can select that respective line item and you can click on the cancel invoice.
By the way, you can only cancel e-way bill. You can cancel e-way bill and e-invoice. You can see that that has gone from your register.
Yeah.
Can you just go back to the generated ones? October to October. Yeah, what you can do is select the 82609 green one. with e-waybill, and the first 173,700, the blue one. Yeah, select these two. Now cancel the e-invoice. So what we are doing is we are canceling one e-invoice with e-waybill, one we are canceling e-invoice without e-waybill. Now, if you notice, I have given two invoices for cancellation. It cancelled only one because the other one I have generated long back. On 10th March 2023, I have generated this invoice, and today we are in June. I cannot cancel an invoice more than 24 hours. Though I have selected two, only one got cancelled. So what happened to the cancelled invoices? Now you can go to the cancel register and show. You can see these three invoices which is showing as cancelled. So the data doesn't get deleted. It is marked as cancelled in your e-invoice register. So that way you can see that, okay, all the transactions pertaining to this has been deleted. And reason why we have given a separate button is so that people don't accidentally cancel it. They have to go into that register and enter it. Yeah, anything else, sir?
Also, if you want to view the invoice from the GST Zen portal, you can directly select the invoice. We have one option here like view online. So it will redirect you to that GST Zen portal. Also, we can view the PDF.
This is what Utkarsh has actually shown you a URL where you copy the URL, you will automatically able to see the invoices. And these invoices are created for the as a user friendly. There are multiple options. You can see the invoice. You can also download the PDF. You can send an email to the customer. Can you go back to the, yeah, when you click on email e-invoice, automatically an e-invoice email will be going to the customer, whatever is the email ID of the customer that is there, to that email ID which the customer is having, an email will automatically get triggered and the mail will be sent.
Yes, sir. That's it from my side.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Karthik has asked, will cancelling the e-invoice will cancel the e-waybill automatically? Yes. Once you cancel the e-invoice, automatically it will cancel the e-waybill also. You have an option to cancel only e-waybill. You also have an option to cancel e-invoice, which will automatically cancel the e-waybill. Maybe you can just select that and cancel e-invoice. I think we did one, the one with the e-waybill. So what you do is in BISME traders, you can just cancel the e-waybill. Yeah, so can you see automatically from green it has become blue because my e-waybill got, I said I don't want the e-waybill for it, I've just cancelled it. I will generate an e-waybill at a later point in time. My material is still not ready, could be whatever be the reason. Yeah, so Gopal is asking, when an e-invoice can be generated from the tally, what is the role of GST Zen? There are two things, Mr. Gopal. Tally doesn't support generation of e-invoice from Tally ERP 9, whether it is 9, 8.1, 7.2 or 6.3. The older version of Tally, the Tally do not have a feature to generate an e-invoice. So that's where the add-ons like GST Zen would help. The second, in the tally, you'll only get the invoices. Here you can see the invoices with the multiple color combinations for you easily to identify which is the invoice generated, which is pending. I hope that answers your point. So Karthik is asking, we have a software which is not Tally. Is it possible to integrate it with e-invoice portal automatically to generate e-invoices? Yes, Karthik, whatever be the software that you have, which is a POS machine or your own in-house ERP, we have a database integration. So basically, person who has developed your ERP should have an ability to consume something called API, an application program data interchange. If the data can be pushed or pulled from that application, our team like Utkarsh will assist you in creating a database integration, which will automatically will be able to do it. Utkarsh, Bharti, can you just put up the contact details? Yeah, in fact, Utkarsh has shared the contact details. You can log into that WhatsApp community, and you can also always WhatsApp to the support number. The support team will be helping you. Is foreign accounting software can be integrated? Sugana, 100% yes. The requirement of the e-invoice is the e-invoice generation should be happening from a server originating in India. So your foreign accounting software will be connecting to GST Zen, which will be doing the e-invoice, so it can be handled. Can we bulk import the data from Tally to GST Zen and generate invoice? Yeah, Gopal sir, the same thing which Azhar has said. You press Control Space Bar, you will be selecting 100 or 1000 invoices. You press one button, all those will sequentially generate an e-invoice by the GST Zen automatically. That's possible. Any other questions to the participants? By the way, this session is recorded. You can also watch the session on live. You will also get the presentation which Bharti has done for your reference. After the session, you will get out on the registered email. Ajay is asking the 24-hour cancellation start and end. Generally, when they say 24 hours, it is not literal 24 hours, which is say now at 4:11 p.m. you have generated an e-invoice. The cancellation doesn't mean that 4:11 of tomorrow. The government reads it is 24 hours from the end of today, which means by till tomorrow midnight you will be able to cancel the e-invoice. In case of an invoice in foreign currency, no invoices under GST while you are filing your GST R1, it is mandatory that you will have to enter the invoices in the Indian currency. Hence, you will have to give the currency value in INR only. Any other questions to the participants? We are not finding GST Zen in Tally Prime. So you have to contact our support team will assist you in, as we mentioned, it's an add-on. They will help you onboard. So the add-on will work not just in ERP9, it would work in Tally Prime also. Any other questions? Sure, and we are actually in time, which means we have the due date from 1st September. You will be doing it, but we are ahead of the time. So, sorry, 1st August we will be doing. We are much ahead of a time. I would only suggest you install it, test it, and should go live on 1st August smoothly without any issues. Yeah, Subhashni is asking, can we start invoicing from 1st August or from now? You can definitely start from now also. There's not necessary that you should be starting only from 1st August. You can do an early adoption and generate an e-invoice also. All right. If there are no questions, I think we can end the day. I thank each and everyone for taking your time out and joining here. Feel free to reach us anytime. Is it mandatory to enter country of export in e-invoice? It's an optional field, not a mandatory field. By the way, I'll be there for some more time. Any questions, please put your questions. I'll be answering the questions. Otherwise, the session is formally complete. Gopal is asking, will we have to create INR for IRP and second client in foreign currency? Gopal, I'm not clear with your question. Is e-invoicing possible for persons below 5 crore turnover? Currently, portal permits optionally accepting the everyone to generate an invoice. You can do it. It's not mandatory. All right. I think we can complete the session. Utkarsh, anything before we complete?
No, sir, it's done.
Yeah. Sugana is asking, we are using a foreign accounting software. Server is not connected to India. It means we need to buy a separate software for e-invoicing. Again, as I said, Sugana, if you use GST Zen services, you can continue using your foreign accounting software in the foreign server. It would still work. All right, that's great. I think we can conclude.